Hi, it's Jason with RPC Electronics. If you're familiar with our DC tortoise controller, then this one's going to look very familiar to you. This is a new controller I'm working on that is for twin-coil turnouts, such as the Kato, Atlas twin coils. I believe Pico has a version as well. I've been testing with the Kato turnout here. As you can see, it's got the little control bar here, or tab. But the way this turnout works is it essentially has a double or dual electromagnet mechanism, and when the coil is pulsed, there's two coils. When one coil is pulsed, the turnout will snap to one side, and when the other coil is pulsed, it snaps to the other side. So, working on that principle, started building a controller that is compatible with these, and it posed a couple extra little challenges, but it hasn't been too bad. So I'll just give you a quick little kind of look at the controller here itself. I'm going to try and move my light around so you can see it a little bit better. Obviously, I don't have a fascia panel for this yet, but it's going to be virtually identical to the fascia panel for the DC Tortoise controller. The only difference is it will just say twin-coil turnout controller on the front, but it'll have the same markings. It'll have the same single LED, bicolor LED, red, green, and the same switch on the front. The only difference is this is a centered switch, and it toggles to one side or the other with a spring action. Let me flip around to the back side, just show you real quick. Now, this is a prototype version. So there are things like this programming header has been soldered on. I'm using that to program the PIC microprocessor that is on here, as well as this little jumper here is for prototyping and programming as well. Those two items will not be on the final production version. Sticking with the DC controller kind of concept or a form factor, we've got paralleled DC inputs on both sides. Either one can be used for input, as well as parallel the voltage out to the next controller if you want to daisy chain them. The major difference is we've replaced the 8 conductor or the 8 position mini terminal block with this 3 position. And in this case, for a Kato, you would use the 2 outer terminals. If you're using a twin coil like Atlas that has 3 wires, your ground wire would go to the center, and then your 2 outer coil connections would go to those outer 2 connections on the terminal block. So very simple, very easy. So let me show you actually demonstrating it here. So right now I've got it wired so that when the green LED is on, it's showing the turnout as straight through, or what I would call closed. I know there's a lot of different terms, so I'm not going to get into a debate about that. So I'm going to go ahead and just toggle this. The first thing you'll notice is the LED is turned red, and you'll now see that the turnout is thrown. Again, whatever term you like to use, I use thrown and close. That's what I'm used to using. And again, I'm just going to flip this back, but I'm going to be quiet so you can hear the turnout clicking. You should hear it click, and you'll see the LED turn green again. And here I'll actuate a couple of times so you can see the turnout actually flipping back and forth. Now, I know one of the questions that will come up is will this memorize the last position that it was in when the power is removed? I've debated this with myself. I've decided not to do that for the simple reason that I can throw this turnout, remove power, and then somebody can come along and manually throw this. And now, when I turn this back on, just because it memorized the last time I did it, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to match the position it's in, so it's kind of pointless. So, for that matter, I am not going to bother making it do that function. Pretty much what I'll recommend is if you have a large layout where you're concerned about somebody coming along and changing something in between this being turned on or turned off and turned back on, best thing to do is just toggle it back and forth and put it in the state that you want it in. As you can tell, it's already in the close position. If I click it to the left to close it, it doesn't do anything because it's already in that position. So, okay, that's pretty much it. Continuing some refinement of the design and a little bit on the firmware, and hope to have these available soon. Thanks for watching.